projects and training, which you would see. And you can get a lot more information about it going to IIT Workforce as well. I would just scroll through these links now and point you to important things. So we have got innovations in IT training, real-time project based on IT training, enhance your career opportunities. So, well, this is the website here, www.itworkforce.com. If you want to get more information, please get into this website. So it does staffing service also, and these are the services which is being given by the IT Workforce. The quality, we pre-evaluate the skills of our talent pools, and only the best are introduced to our clients. Yes, so um, this is one important thing. If you do the best in the project, obviously you'll be having good placement, obviously, because this is what is required for you to learn the best practices in the code. Now we will even understand the best practices also. Anything which we do it here, right, in Java or using user interfaces. Now, in my sessions, all we have done is like we have used everything Java, right? We have used JSPs, servlets, we have used Spring MVC, right? Now those are pretty much uh, like Java related. Okay. Now this is entirely different, guys. Okay. So this is completely focused on scripting. Okay. So you would not see any kind of Java related stuff out here, but we would be interacting along with the Java application from the user interface. Okay. So speed, more than 10,000 candidates align in our list, constant resourcing over several time zones. So IT Workforce does a good job in this one as well. Flexibility, direct placement, contractual agreement or temporal to permanent hire, like any talent, contact us now. Yep. And why real-time work experience matters? Yes, it matters because, well, going to a company, you would be like thinking, can I do that? Because sometimes what happens is I've seen in many of the people, like if I go to a company, can I work because I have taken a Java training session? Can I cope up myself into a new environment? Yes or no? I mean, that is the very first failure you think about in your mind. It's not you, anyone does. Even I was to do that. So that is the very first step of failure, right? Because you say, can I do that or not? Right? So if you get into this project work, you would be having that confidence that, yes, I'm doing my project. I did all my best. I got everything correct. I did a nice application, nice project. So nothing can stop me in getting into a company and achieving my goal, right? So this is one platform. At least if you get a good exposure to all the different technologies. Okay, so we'll see if in between, if we can introduce a couple of more concepts. Like we have learned about JMS, we have learned about web services, right? We are anyhow going to implement here, right? We are going to use Hibernate, we are going to use Spring. We'll see if I can introduce a couple of more frameworks also, right? So we will see that if we get into a use case wherein we have to or we can use it, we will definitely use it out there. Okay. All right. So what we offer, we provide hands-on practical work experience and a real-time project to all our enrollees. Help in building resume that reflects the skill and experience gained working with us. Impart confidence by training our students to face job interviews. Provide job placements assistance by submitting our trainee resume to our vendor client recruiters. Provide project related references. Support our trainee in the new jobs. Right. Technologies covered like quality assurance, QTP, mobile application, big data, Hadoop, Selenium, WebDriver, Advanced Java. Okay, I think there are a couple of more also. Projects available. There are many projects like telecom, domain, banking domain, supply chain management, CRM, and healthcare. This is what we are going to focus on. This is because we will be working on the healthcare project here. Which version of Java we will be using? It's a good question, though, Neela. So I was thinking of it yesterday itself, that I was thinking of using a JDK 10 version. Okay, so there should not be any problem at all. There are few internal development, internal enhancements on those things. We will use it, and I know most of you have used a JDK 8, but it's pretty much the same. Okay, so few other things would be different here and there. Okay, so IIT Workforce real-time project internship. This is what you guys would be doing it. And the target of this program is to give necessary domain knowledge to work effectively in real-time environment. And yes, domain knowledge is always important, folks, that in whichever company you go, they would basically look out if you have domain knowledge. So when I say domain knowledge, uh, just think about it. If you're using WhatsApp, right? So if you're using WhatsApp, you should know all the features of WhatsApp, correct? Or if you're into a healthcare domain, you should know exactly like what are the different. Suppose if you're into claims processing, okay, so you need to know exactly like how a member claims are being processed, or if you are into an enrollment process, right? So for example, like you enroll yourself into a new plans every year, right? So what benefit plans I'm going to take, right? And how is that good for me? Like different companies, they give you 10 different benefit plans, so you have to choose which one you want to go with based out of your requirement, right? So you being a representative, you should tell, or you should convince others that this would be good, that would not be good for you, right? So you should be having a good domain knowledge for that. So there's a question here: JSPs are not used anymore, why Angular JS? JSPs are not used anymore. Yes, JSPs mod, they would be using it for general small applications, but these days, right, most of the programs, most of the projects, they either go with all the latest libraries, okay, like Angular, React, Vue, Backbone. Okay, so there's so many different frameworks. These are specialized on the UI framework. These are pretty much more faster than those frameworks. Okay, so that's the only reason I would be using these frameworks, though. Okay, so if your question is why AngularJS, so AngularJS is completely different. JSP is completely different. So JSP is Java driven. Okay, so that's actually if I have told you that the JSP gets converted to a servlet. Okay, what is servlet? Servlet is nothing but a Java program itself. Like you have got what are the file name .java, right? Is a servlet. Well, you extend it to the servlet class, but ultimately it is a Java program itself. Okay, so we would not be using that, but instead we would be using something as a different framework, which is really powerful in terms of development and the complete flow. So core features of IIT Workforce: we deliver quality IT projects for clients. We provide on-site resources at a cost comparable to offshore resources. We give you skill-trained resources, domain expertise at a lower cost. Our core team has experience in multiple domains. So these are the different domains which they are pretty much experienced and expertise in. And for the trainees, we give you opportunity to gain real-time hands-on experience and work in a dynamic environment. You get to work on real-time application in agile environment. So we will even understand what is agile environment also. Like we will be having regular calls, understanding where people are lagging, where what are we trying to develop, are we doing something good, or we are out of track. It's not so there are different models actually, right? Uh, there's something like a top-down model wherein you know, you give a project to someone, they would just give you at the end of maybe a month or two. So but after you getting the project, you would see whether the project is aligned with what I've told, yes or no. Maybe no, because you were having no interaction between with the team members at all. And after 2 months, you got an entirely different project with having many different functionalities which you are not expecting. Okay, so agile environment, or this is one. It's a concept wherein we will have a daily calls, understand what's going on and whatnot. Okay, so complete software development lifecycle, or we say it as STLC, software development lifecycle, will go from different phases of the project. Complete software testing lifecycle, end-to-end application testing, web services, SOAP. We'll not use SOAP here, but yeah. So we'll be using RESTful services, testing with the SOAP UI tool. Yes, this is also we'll be doing it. Agile management tool. There's a bug tracking tools, and then we have got test management tools. I'm yet to see if we can use any free tools. Okay, so something like a Bitbucket is something which provides a bug tracking tool. So there are many freeware also. Give me a sec, guys. Mike here before continuing. All right, so we have one of our mentor here, Mike. He's going to explain the benefit of the project. So let me explain the project, and then I'm going to give him a few minutes, and then he's going to talk more about the benefits of the projects. Okay. So I'm kind of a technical person out here, which is going to help you with the project itself, and there are other mentors to help you with other things as well. Okay, so without taking up much time in going through all these things, probably Mike, he might again get into all these things, but let me. This is our motto, folks. So healthcare, and there's something as manage my patient (MMP). This is what we're going to work on, by the way. Okay. All right. So let's see if I have something else. So thank you. Cheers. All right. So Mike, do you want to go now, or you want to talk about the technologies which I'm going to use it, and what systems I'm going to use, and how am I going to execute this entire project? Okay. So first thing first, whatever comes to my mind right now, let me just write it down. Um, so we know we have got something as GitHub, right? So we have used GitHub. I mean, if all of you have been my student, or me, there are a couple of new faces also. So this is going to be a repository. Now I'm not going to use Git hub here, because it's like whatever you do in GitHub, it's going to be public for everyone. Okay, so we don't want this project to be public. It is only and confined to our learning and our project. Okay, so I'm not going to use GitHub. Instead, I would be using something known as a GitLab. Yes, so Devika, I'll be talking about those things as well. So Devika is asking, could you please provide us an overview of the project and what's going to be our role? So I will describe the whole project here. Well, like not the complete stuff, but I'll give you an overview of the project, and then slowly we will get into uh, who's going to do what. So that's the only reason I'm asking here. What is the level of confidence for you guys at the initial stage? Because I would be rotating everyone in every single field of development. But as of now, I'm going to ask you who is comfortable in what. So there are like we have got a couple of things like are you comfortable in user interface UI, or designing a page, or you are more confident in the backend system. So when I say backend system, is it like uh, doing creating services, okay, and uh, going talking to the database and whatnot. So if you guys can type in exactly what you're confident more about right now, but anyways, at the end of the project, you guys would be confident in all the single layers of this project, whatever I'm going to talk about. Okay, so please start typing in, folks. That's very important and very crucial for me. Okay. All right, so let me just get started, and then if you have any questions, I can even answer it, and then I will get into the presentations and whatnot. So I would be using a GitLab. This is going to be more private for us, and I would be creating users also, so that you would be having your own user ID and password, so that you check in, you check out, everything would be traced. I can know exactly what you're doing and whatnot. So we'll see that. It's a good thing for us to know, and we will understand the entire process of how the development works. So whatever work I'm doing it in my company, we'll be pretty much doing the same thing out here. Okay, so checking out and checking in, you would be pretty much familiar with those. Okay, all right. So and then from the user interface, or you say it as a UI. Okay, I would like to use React JS. I know most of my students are not familiar, but we'll learn it. So that's again one exercise to learn things and then execute things as well. Okay, so I'll point you to a few things, or probably I can show you the initial part of what is React and how it works and whatnot. So we'll go through that in some sessions as well. Okay, and obviously we'll be using Java. Okay, so now. Uh, I hope in my sessions I have spoken about JSPs, servlets, right? So, and I think I've spent good amount of time on this one. But here we will not use any of these technologies, because this is um, it's not the new trend what people follow. Okay, and we would be using something known as React, like we have got Angular and whatnot, right? And and these are like scripting libraries. Okay, so and basically making sure that you build uh, nice components which can be rendered in both small interfaces or bigger interfaces. Like you can see the same application nicely in a laptop, maybe in a mobile and whatnot. So it renders differently in different systems. Okay, so it's a good thing. It would be a learning curve for every one of us. We'll learn that and we'll execute it. It's not so hard. I just implemented one application in my company using React, and it was pretty easy for me. Okay, now on the Java end, as of now, I'm thinking of using obviously Java here. So we'll be using Spring Boot, all right, and we would be using Spring Web Services. Okay, and when I talk about web services here, we would be mainly using RESTful services itself. Okay, so it's going to be RESTful altogether, and for backend integration, I would be using Hibernate. Okay, so I think we all know what is an Hibernate. How many of you know what is Hibernate, folks? And we would be using the latest versions of Hibernate, and we'll see how to execute that. So how many of you are familiar with Hibernate? I know, yeah, Brini. How about Devika? Okay, great. Devika, were you part of my student batch, or is this for the first time you're joining? And you were my student as well. Okay, all right. Yes, Shara. Okay, thank you. So we would be using Hibernate here, and then we would be, as for the database, we would be using MySQL. Right? So we already have a database, and we already have a schema defined. So we'll talk about schema. I will explain you that what it is. Even I have to explore more on that as well. Okay, and we'll see the schemas. We'll understand what is the schema. And I was going through the existing schemas which we have right now, which was given to me as the initial step. There are no relationships between the tables. We will create relationships between the tables by creating some foreign key, primary keys, and whatnot. Okay, and yeah, so Spring would be our main objective. We would be creating a lot of services, because the UI or the React application, it interacts with the backend system completely using services. Okay, so that's the only way we can interact. We'll see how to do that, right? And we will create microservices also. So something like microservices, and this is a trend in the development world now. Microservices are like small pieces of code which can be deployed separately. Okay, so I don't want to create a huge project, a monolithic project. So the contradictory to microservices is uh, monolithic application. So when I say monolithic application, it's something like you put everything in one single var file, okay, and deploy that to the application. But we will not do that. We will basically create microservices. Okay, so uh, this is a no, right? No for us. Okay, so that's all I have right now on top of my head, and this is what we would be using a lot more. So let's get into the project and understand more about it as well.
Yeah, I can hear you, Jairam. What about you?
Yeah, do you want to continue right now, or you want me to finish up?
No, Jairam. Yeah, please continue. I'll take just 5 minutes before completion of the demo so
Okay.
that I can explain the participants about the benefits. Okay, please
Oh,
continue.
all right. Thank you very much.
Okay, then. Thank you.
Let me mute Mike so that he doesn't disturb us while we are into the project. Okay, so this is again, as I said, this is powered by IIT Workforce. You can get into the website to understand more about it as well. Now, the project which we are going to work out on is the manage my patient. So this is completely on the patient system itself. So we would be having multiple different modules, and we'll see what it is. Now, the client is the North America Medical Technology Group, but again, don't worry about this. We need to only worry about how to develop this one. Okay. So there are a lot of different slides out here. This is a complete requirement which has been listed out here, which again was given to me by the IT workforce for accomplishing this project, and we'll see that. So I know we all are developers, but eventually we would be testing the application also. So because that's one important thing you need to know, you need to cross test each other's functionality also. Okay, so you would be also a tester as well. You would not write any QTBs and all. I would not go with that because I would focus more on the development side here, right? Intended audience, so whoever wants to be business analyst, they can get into this. Developers, this is what I'm focusing on. QA testers, we don't have any. We would be the one to test this application. Then manager, well, we don't have any manager here. If Mike wants to be, he can be the manager of this project. And then technical architect, so this is what my role would be here. And architects usually don't develop though much here, right? Would give you the chance for developing completely. And then configuration management team. And yes, one other thing, like uh, we will see if we can create some CI/CD or like continuous integration or automatic deployment of the code. There's a process to do that. We'll see if we can incorporate those things also. Okay. So the general overview, management patient is a web-based application. We use MySQL. So this was pretty whole thing. Like they were using Dreamweaver for designing the page, and then Apache Server. We'll be using Apache Server still. We'll be using Apache Tomcat, and we'll not use PHP here. We'll be using uh, our React.js, and we will be using web services. Okay, the technologies and component are open source. Everything is open source for us, and these are the different modules we will be talking about. We'll be talking about the patient modules, admin module, doctor module, and insurance provider module. Okay, so these are the four important modules we'll be talking about, and we'll be designing all the pages for the patient, Like for the patient, we will be creating register account, login account, edit profile, the general way what you guys do it on any of the websites, right? Schedule appointment. You being a patient, um, you can schedule an appointment. You can view information, pay the fees, view the report which is given to you by the doctor, view the history of your visit and your report as well. You can send some message directly to the doctor or maybe to the admin, whatever, right? You can search any symptoms. You can even log out. So starting from registering to logging in to log out. So these are the modules or the sub modules which we would be creating for the patient. So we have got other screens also. We will go through those screens and understand on a higher level, and we'll see. You would see how big is this project, okay? And then you would have admin also. So admin also would be having register account, login account, user tabs, claim center tab, then validating the claim center tab. Like if a patient submits a claim, someone has to validate that patient tab. Being an admin, so admin is the main component wherein he can see everything though, right? So like for example, patient cannot see the admin pages, doctors cannot see the admin pages, so admin is the only one who can see everything, okay? So we will even add up credentials so that you you're an admin, you can only see admin pages, okay? We'll work out on that. Now, being an admin, he can register account, login account, user tabs, claim center tab, validating the center tab, patient tab, create visit, add prescription, create fees, reports tab. So one of the main dashboard would be the reports, because admin needs a lot of reports and all. And then the message tab and the logout tab. Okay. Now, then we would be having doctors module. Doctors do registration, login, edit account, add prescription, add report, logout. So pretty much, if we understand, if we create a UI for a single module, right? So we should be pretty much good in understanding what is a UI module and how to design and how to go with it. Okay, so it's just a simple flow. Once you understand one module, design, complete the development on that, then all the other things flow with that. Okay, so I'm not worried about other modules. I'm just worried about, like, if we are done with one, we can replicate with others also. Okay, so we'll understand, we'll see that how to do it. And maybe from the UI the screens would be different, how to keep the screens in which position, where exactly how to keep all the uh, uh, components or text fields or anything. Okay, so we'll see where to align it and whatnot. Okay, now then, doctors, likewise, we've got insurance providers. They can register, login. It's something like who's going to provide insurance for all these patients. I mean, the patient might even choose those insurance provider for their insurance. Okay, so we'll see all those things out here. So these are the four modules in particular we'll be targeting here. Okay, now let me even go walk you through the admin module and other modules. As I said, not deep into it, but I'll show you that we have even screens also. We don't have to struggle because someone has done a good job in giving us all the business requirement. Okay, so now being a developer, right, you don't have to collect all this information, because it's not your job. Okay, so if you see at the very beginning of this page, right here, it says BRD, that is a business requirement document. Okay, or if I am an architect, I don't even care about any of these things, because this is someone has to talk to the business and give me those information, right? So this is a BRD, we say it is a BRD. So you convert that BRD to a technical document also. But if technically what happens is, uh, if I'm an architect, right, I can convert this BRD to a technical document. So, for example, when I say technical document, suppose someone says, okay, the very first thing is register account, right? Now, I can exactly tell you that uh, what kind of code you would be using it, right? What is the expectations I want and whatnot. Okay, so those things I can even convert that from BRD to technical document. I can do that. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's move on. So registering account. So this is the would be the initial page, and then you would be having a page wherein you would be having an option to log in. So being an admin, so ADM is the admin out here, right? So this is would be a login screen, and you have all informations out here. What would be the first name required field? It is also a required field. So all these are required fields. So the moment when we design this page, right? We would see what kind of validations I can add. So can I just leave the username and password blank and just can I just sign in? Well, it should give me a validation issues, right? So we'll see how to do that. And I mean, you have all the informations out here. I don't have to even spell out here. And once, I mean, you can even for a new registration, you can even add your personal details to register yourself as well. Okay, so either you can sign in or you can register, either way. So when you do a registering, you can see all these personal details to be filled in by you. Likewise, we have got like say these are the validations which has been done here. I think this they have used PHP here in order to design this page. Now again, usually the business requirements, right? So BRDs. So whoever is in the business, they would be even good at designing the page as well, maybe, right? Or usually what happens is once you get the business requirement, there would be a designer who designs the page. And designer doesn't have to be a developer. He or she doesn't have to know what is an HTML at all, because there are tools which helps you in dragging and dropping. Okay, so just drag and drop, pick some colors. They can I mean, design this page completely using some tools for which they don't need any development skills, right? And that too, those are only drag and drop. It's something like if I open up a MS Paint, right, or let's say sketchbook. And with sketchbook here, right? So this is a sketchbook for me. Now, if suppose I want to design something out here, right? What I can do is I can like I'm able to design it here, right? So this is something a page. So likewise, they would be having a block which will they just drag and drop it and then choose whatever color it is. So that's kind of a design. Only the design it is, okay? So it's not the development. So someone has would have done that in that manner as well. And then we have got some happy path. Once they log in, after login, administrator homepage should display with home, user, claim center, patient. So if you can see on the left hand side, these are the tabs for the admin. So it says that once admin logins into this screen successfully, the admin has to look into, should be having by default all these tabs on the left hand side, right? So that's what it shows me here: home, user, claim center, patient. So we'll see how to add up these navigations also, right? So navigations are pretty important part of any applications or UI applications. Okay, we'll see how to accomplish those things. Likewise, if you you're trying to log in, you have forgotten the password, you can say forget password. You have the screen out here. um, so these are pretty much you would be having it. We'll go through all these things eventually when we'll start working on this one. Okay, I've got a lot more to show you, so I'm just scrolling through all the things. So this is completely your admin module. So you can even search by patient, by name or by SSN. So being an admin, you want to do some sort of search and do some edits on the patient, you can do that. Okay. And again, folks, a lot of UI skills are also required here. Now, if you get into the market, if you say, okay, I know React, I know Spring, Java, it's a go always. Okay, so believe me, it's React is one major skills. A lot of companies they look out for. Okay, so what next? Okay, so these are completely the admin modules, so I'll not go deep into it now. I hope you guys got a feeling of what are different modules. Now, if you think about this one, let me just go to the very first page, right? So where is that? So this is our starting page, right? Admin login. Now, when you give my username and password when I do a sign in, I mean, obviously there should be some application who has to validate whether the user ID and password are correct or not, right? So those things we're going to write it in Java. Think about it, how much. So for this screen, I would be having a Java code. For this screen, so when I give the personal details, if someone wants to register, when I do give all the information and do a save, I need another Java code in order to save those information to the database, right? Correct. So likewise, every single page out here. Okay. So like, if you want to populate this page, so if you want to populate this page, because this is the dashboard for the admin, and then if they have something in the database, it has to be displayed. Now the user, when they click on the user tab, I know it's pretty small here. Let me see if we can expand this more. Okay. So there's a user tab here. The moment they click on this user, they have to see all the users which belongs to the system, right? Obviously, you have to make a database query. There should be Java code which invokes those information from the database and display it to the UI, right? Think about it. How much code? If we're talking about a single functionality, only clicking on the user and displaying the information, it has got many flows there. Like once you click on user, from UI it has to trigger a service. The service has to go and query the database and pull those information and give it back to the UI, right? So a lot of things are involved out here. Likewise, you can see so many tabs here: user, claim, patient, messages, indicate availability. So many functionalities we are talking about here. Okay. So likewise, every single screen would be having its own specific Java code, right? So we have got 4 modules. If each module has got maybe 10, 15 sub modules, many different code, right? Pieces of code. Okay. Let's get down. So this is still my admin module here. Admin should be having an option to add some user. If the user has entered all the valid credentials, the system will display inserted below the submit claims on. So this looks like a claim page. Okay. And folks, in the meantime, I still did not get any updates from all of you that what is the confidence level right now for you guys on Java. It's kind of a question to me. I mean, question to all of you, so that it'll make I'll take a few decisions based out of that as well. Okay. All right. So this is the admin module. I'm just scrolling through all the pages here, just to show you that we have got all the requirements here, and the technical requirements we are going to design and fulfill that. Okay. So this is my admin, still admin, and then and eventually, folks, everyone has to talk to each other as well. Okay. So it's not like only you guys will be talking to me. You guys have to talk to each other as well, because that's how you guys would be executing this project. Okay. So it's not a one man show at all here, folks. You have to talk to each other and move forward from there. Okay. I'm familiar with the coding. All requirements out needs to be loaded onto personal PC. Required software. It's a good question here. So Neela is asking that all required software needs to be loaded onto personal PC. React, Java, yes, everything will be on your personal PC. Okay, everything. So, but eventually, even though if it is everything in your machine, you guys would be continuously checking in the code into a common repository. That's where the GitLab comes in picture. Okay, so everything would be there. There's also a centralized database also. Um, oh, so Deepika says I'm good at healthcare knowledge. Oh, that's great. Probably you can add up some more inputs to the functionality. We can execute that as well. Okay. Also, I want to learn UI. Well, yes, you'll learn UI as well. All right. So this is the admin. I think this is the logout page, And then we have got the doctor's module. It has got all the information. The moment doctor logs in, um, all these things you would see. The same thing what we have seen in case of your admin module, but different screens though, right? So all these are pretty much different screens. As I said, if we create one module, we can reuse those components in other modules also. Okay, and as we are going to use React, React has a very nice feature that you can reuse those components. Okay, so it's a very powerful feature which is built by React. It's something like using a common method and then just passing on some parameters and getting the information back. Likewise, you can do the same thing in React. Okay. Now, React and Angular are two different paths altogether. They're different way of different frameworks. So, if you want to just Google it, you would find that both have their own way of designing and moving forward. So Spring RESTful Web Services have been excited to know React. Okay, great. Well, yeah. So Rini says that Spring RESTful Web, she's all comfortable with all the different things. Well, all these things you'll learn a lot more on all these things as well. First of all, okay. So Spring RESTful, you'll learn more. Web services, you learn more. Hibernate, yes, more on top of it, because here we are going to do a real-time project, and it's not. Maybe we have to think more on how to execute or how to implement a code to exactly fit our requirement, right? So for our sessions and all, we have seen few examples. May not be so complex, but we might have to deal with complex situations also, and we have to decide how to solve the problem. Okay. Databases, yes, excited to run React. Okay, that's great. All right, so these all we have. Doctor's module, again, same story, but again, all these modules, right? Like doc modules here, they have their own tabs here. The moment you click on these, it has to go to the respective information. Let's say, for example, uh, there might be multiple doctors, right, for this application. Like for a single doctor, there might be 10 patients. For another doctor, it might be having 50 patients. So if you being a doctor who has got 50 patients, if you log in, you click on the patients tab, you should see your own patients. So we have to understand how to query those data from the database, and there obviously there should be a service which would do all these things for us. Okay, we'll structure all the application, all the modules separately, and we will not put everything in one place. We'll see. So those decisions I would be giving it to you guys on how to structure the code and move forward from there. Okay. Now we will completely follow a test-driven approach, folks. Okay, so make sure you keep this in mind, write it down somewhere, read it up, and see what is a test-driven approach. It's a very important approach for any project. So I've seen even people having experience also, they don't do a test-driven approach, but we will follow the test-driven approach in our case. So I'll talk about that um, moving forward. Okay, so here we go. So I don't want to get deeper into all these things. It's all the screens. We have got patient module again. Patient can register, login. Okay, all the same information what we have seen. So as I said, I mean, maybe patient has got more fields here, but pretty much the same concept for admin or maybe doctors or whatever it is. Okay. All right. So keep scrolling down. Keep scrolling down. Um, Okay, so I don't want to get deep into that. So it's all about the different functionalities of the patients module. I want to view some history, past transaction, past appointments. So all these things would be saved in the database, right? So if being a patient, he or she should be able to see all this information back, right? Okay, so insurance provider. This is again a module for insurance provider. All the screens are given to us, right? Yeah, pretty much we have everything here. So it's all about a healthcare, mainly a patients module, right? Manage my patient. So it's basically patients module now. Now healthcare is a huge domain, guys. Okay, so many things are there here. Now this is a very small part we are learning here. That is a patient, how to manage patient. There are claim processing, there are enrollments, there are providers, right? So it's a huge field. I mainly expertise on the enrollment process because I've built a huge application for the enrollment. So huge um, clients are also using like 8 if you guys might have heard about it. So many clients are using those modules. All right, so this is an overview of how the interaction happens. Like admin submits the claim, then admin creates a visit for the patient, approves the patient, creates the fee, patient's schedule appointment, view prescription, view report given by doctor, then doctor manage the patient, doctor adds the prescription, doctor adds a report. So it's on a higher view how the flow works, and probably we will have to add more flows also on top of it, because we need a concrete diagram also how the flow goes. So probably eventually I'll add up a lot of the flows also and pass it on to you guys so that we do pretty good job on that as well. I'll introduce a couple of more tools also. Okay, so this is what we have it for the project, and what I would recommend or I would follow through. So I'm not sure at this point of time. I've got seven. I'll not say any more students. I would say seven folks, seven team members from now. Okay, I would eventually explain maybe half of the team. I would take it for the UI development for one of the module, and half of that I would take it for the backend development. Okay, so and then when we switch on to another module, probably I'll shuffle some team members uh, to a different module so that they also get the feel of uh, if you're doing UI, you should get a feel of the backend. I mean, here the main deal is the UI or the backend. Okay, so uh, UI is completely different, because if you do a Java, right, maybe a web service or Spring and all, it's pretty much same. Okay, so but I want you to have a feel of everything. Okay, so I haven't structured the team yet. I will not do it at this moment of time. It will be pretty early for me. Once I get the real head count of how many people would be joining in, and then from that day onwards, I would be able to execute my plans. Okay, so it will be pretty early. I think someone was asking the roles and responsibility. Well, it'll be pretty early for me in the very first class itself, or the first session itself, to tell about those things. Okay, so you leave those decisions on to me completely. I'll make sure that you guys understand end-to-end flow. Okay, any questions, concerns, folks, until this point? I'm pretty much excited to work on this project. Okay, so I think it's going to take maybe 6 months, I hope. It's and that too. And folks, this is no Java session class. Okay, so it's not like you listen for 1 hour or 2 hour. It's a complete hands-on coding. You guys have to do it and show it to me. I'm not going to help you by doing the code. That should be the deal here when you are into this project. Okay, the complete I would give you the complete guidance. If you're stuck somewhere, I would definitely help you. Okay, that's where I would be jumping in. But you have to have your, I will be setting up the credentials also. It's you who have to do this project. Okay, so that's the deal, and we will go with that deal and move forward from there. All right, so any other questions, folks? If not, I will give Mike to speak about the benefits of this project. Send a mute request to Mike. Mike, you want to jump on and talk about other things? I think you have. Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
Mike.
hi Jairam. Yeah, hi Jairam. Thanks for allowing me. It was wonderful seminar by you. So, hi participants, can you hear me?
I think they are
Hello.
able to hear you. Yes. They're all muted, by the way, Mike.
Okay, okay. Yeah, hi. This is Mike from IIT Workforce. Okay, and I'm from the management department. We will be providing you the service related to the real-time project on Java. Okay, and regarding the Java project, it is based on the healthcare domain. You'll have like 1 hour meeting 3 times in a week for a duration of 2.5 months. In this 2.5 months, we'll be completely guiding you how to develop the application and work on the application.
Mike, one question here. Maybe I would have
Mhm.
misunderstood here. Was it for a 6 months project or 2.5 months project as
Actually, here we will be having meetings, Jairam. In
well?
these meetings, we will be explaining about the like new whatever the new skills are there related to Java,
Hmm.
and we will be giving the task to the students
Right.
so that they can work on the task and create a report and come back with the output and show it to the team leads. Okay, like you. And after reviewing by each and every individual, you will be giving them the output. Okay, as well as you will give a new task to them to complete.
Okay. All right. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah. So regarding this project, generally we'll be planning at evening hours. Okay. And if any one of you are interested, you can just give us a call on the same number 408-715-7889 so that we can provide you more details about the project, about the references what we are providing you, along with the details. Thank you, Jairam.
All right. Thank you, Mike.